The first time I heard someone typing from the empty office floor, I was completely alone in the building. At least, that's what I thought. I know how that sounds. But before you judge me, you need to understand something. Back then, I worked the overnight shift at a corporate office tower downtown. My job was simple: monitor security cameras, check visitor logs, reset employee access cards, and make sure nobody entered the building after hours. The company rented 6 entire floors inside a massive glass skyscraper. During the day, thousands of people moved through those halls. But after 9 p.m., everyone disappeared. Most nights it was just me, a cleaning crew, and maybe a few exhausted employees finishing projects before deadlines. Usually the shift was painfully boring. I sat behind the security desk in the lobby, drank terrible vending machine coffee, and stared at security monitors until sunrise. Nothing ever happened. Until that night. A storm had rolled into the city. Heavy rain slammed against the windows. The cleaning crew had called out. Every employee had gone home, and by 11:30 p.m., I was the only person left in the building. At exactly 2:14 a.m., I heard typing. At first it was faint, almost impossible to notice. Click, click, click. Then faster, more aggressive, like someone was hammering away at a keyboard somewhere upstairs. I froze. The sound wasn't coming from the lobby. It was coming through the building's speaker system, as if a microphone had been left on somewhere above me. I immediately checked the security cameras. Floor 12, empty. Floor 13, empty. Floor 14, empty. Then I opened camera 16, the accounting department on floor 15, and that's when I saw it. A computer monitor glowing in the darkness. My stomach tightened. Every workstation in that office was programmed to shut down automatically at midnight. Nothing should have been running. Nothing. I leaned closer to the screen, trying to understand what I was looking at. Then suddenly, the phone on my desk rang. The sound nearly made me jump out of my chair. I stared at it for a second before answering. Security. Silence. Then static. A soft crackling sound. I waited, and then a woman's voice, barely above a whisper. Please, static hissed through the line. Don't send him up here. Every hair on my arm stood up. My throat went dry. Who is this? I asked. No answer, only silence. Then, click, the call disconnected. I slowly lowered the phone, my heart pounding harder now, and looked back at camera 16. The glowing monitor on floor 15 suddenly went black. The office disappeared into darkness. For 1 second, everything was still. Then every light on the entire floor turned on at once.
I called my supervisor first, straight to voicemail. I called the building manager. Same thing, no answer. I told myself there had to be a logical explanation. Maybe an employee had stayed late and forgotten to badge in. Maybe a computer system had glitched. Maybe the woman on the phone was playing some kind of prank. I didn't really believe any of those explanations, but they were better than the alternatives. So I grabbed the master keycard, my flashlight, the radio, and headed for the elevators. The ride to the 15th floor felt wrong, longer than it should have. The elevator climbed silently through the building. Then the lights flickered, once, twice. For a split second, I thought I heard breathing coming from the speaker above me. Slow, heavy, like someone standing inches away from the microphone. Then it stopped. The elevator continued upward. When the doors finally opened, the accounting floor was brightly lit, completely silent, and freezing cold. A wave of cold air hit me the second I stepped out. The office stretched endlessly in front of me. Rows of cubicles, desks, computers, everything perfectly still. Every monitor was dark. The only sound came from the faint hum of fluorescent lights overhead. I moved carefully between the cubicles, trying to keep my breathing steady. Security. My voice echoed through the office. Anyone here? Nothing. No response. No movement. Just silence. Then I noticed something near the windows. One chair, pulled away from a desk, like someone had just stood up and walked away. I approached slowly and immediately saw something strange. The keyboard was wet. Not damp, not spilled coffee. Wet. Water dripped from the keys onto the carpet below. Tiny drops splashed onto the floor. I stared at it, confused. Then I shined my flashlight downward, and my stomach dropped. Footprints. Small, muddy footprints. Bare feet. Human. Too small to belong to an adult man. They led away from the desk, toward the conference rooms. I followed them, one step at a time, my heart pounding harder with every footprint. The trail finally stopped outside conference room C. I raised my flashlight. The room's glass walls were completely fogged over, from the inside, as if someone had been breathing against the glass. But that made no sense. The room should have been cold. I slowly reached for the handle. My fingers touched the metal. And then I heard a voice. Soft, weak, terrified. Don't open it. I froze, every muscle locked in place, because I recognized the voice immediately. It was her, the woman from the phone. I took a step backward, then another, and suddenly, every light on the floor went out. Total darkness. The office vanished around me. For one horrible second, there was complete silence. Then, click, click, click. A keyboard started typing somewhere behind me. Fast, violent. The sound exploded through the darkness, like someone was smashing both hands against the keys. Click, 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 click. I spun around. My flashlight beam swept wildly across the office. Desks flashed past, cubicles, walls, empty chairs. Then it stopped, at the far end of the floor. One computer monitor had turned on, bright white against the darkness. I stood frozen. The typing stopped. The screen flickered, and words began appearing, one letter at a time, as if someone invisible was typing them. H, E, then more, until the message was complete. He is already in the building. A chill shot through my entire body. Then, ding, the elevator behind me. I turned instantly. The doors were opening, slowly, painfully slowly. I held the flashlight on them, waiting, expecting someone to step out. Nobody did. The elevator was empty, but something was wrong. The floor inside was covered in water, completely soaked, and muddy footprints stretched from inside the elevator out into the hallway, straight toward me. I didn't wait. I ran. Every survival instinct I had took over. I turned and sprinted through the office, I don't even remember reaching the stairwell. 1 second I was running through cubicles. The next I was slamming through the stairwell door. I raced down the concrete stairs, taking 2 and 3 steps at a time. The radio bounced against my hand. Static crackled through the speaker. Then suddenly, a voice. A man's voice. Calm. Close. Too close. Why are you running? I nearly dropped the radio. Then I realized the voice wasn't coming from the radio speaker. It sounded like it was standing right behind me. I dropped the radio anyway and kept running.
When I reached the lobby, the front doors were locked. The storm outside had gotten worse. Rain hammered against the glass. The street beyond was completely empty. No cars, no people, nothing. And sitting on my security desk, the phone was ringing again. I didn't want to answer it. Every instinct told me not to. But I did anyway. I lifted the receiver slowly. For a second, there was only static. Then the woman's voice returned. Barely a whisper. "He saw you." My blood ran cold. Before I could respond, the line went dead. I immediately pulled out my cell phone and dialed 911. No signal, not one bar. I stared at the screen in disbelief. That made no sense. I had full service earlier. I tried again. Nothing. I switched to the landline, pressed the buttons. Every number produced the same sound. Static. Only static. Then something on the security monitors caught my attention. I looked up and froze. Someone was standing in front of camera 16, the 15th floor, the accounting department. A man, tall, completely motionless, wearing a dark suit. His face was pressed so close to the camera lens that the image distorted. I couldn't make out his features, but I could see one thing clearly. He was smiling. A wide, unnatural smile. I slowly backed away from the desk, unable to look away from the screen. Then I heard a soft, mechanical sound. The elevator. Above the doors, the floor numbers began changing. 15, 16, 17, 18. The elevator was coming down. My heart started pounding. 11, 12, 13. I turned and ran. I sprinted into the security office and slammed the door behind me, then locked it. The room was tiny. One small reinforced window facing the lobby, and a wall covered with security monitors. I stood there breathing hard, watching, waiting. The numbers continued descending. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then, the elevator reached the lobby. The doors opened. I held my breath. Nobody stepped out. Nothing moved. 30 seconds passed, then 60. The elevator remained open, empty, silent, and then something appeared on the floor. A footprint, wet, another, then another. I watched in horror as muddy footprints slowly formed across the lobby, one by one, as if someone invisible was walking toward me. Step, step, step. I could hear them too. Heavy, wet, getting closer. Step, step, Step. The footprint stopped directly outside the security office. Silence. Then the door handle moved. Slowly, carefully. Someone was trying the lock. I stopped breathing. The handle turned once, then stopped. A few seconds later, a man's voice spoke through the door. Calm, almost curious. "You're not scheduled tonight." I nearly broke down right there, because I recognized those words. My manager had said the exact same thing 2 weeks earlier. The scheduling system had assigned me the wrong shift. I remembered the conversation perfectly. At the time, it meant nothing. Now, it felt like a warning. Outside the door, the man tapped softly, 3 times. Tap, 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 then silence. A moment later, I heard footsteps moving away. I looked at the monitor. The wet footprints crossed the lobby again, back toward the elevator. The doors opened. The invisible figure entered. The doors closed, and the elevator started moving. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then suddenly, the display changed. B. I stared at it, confused. There was no basement button, not on the public elevator. The building did have an underground parking garage, but employees needed a special access card to reach it. The elevator shouldn't have been able to go there. I immediately switched to the garage cameras. Every screen showed static, one after another. All 4 cameras were dead. Then a warning flashed across the monitor wall. Bright red letters. Basement fire door open. The message blinked repeatedly. I don't know why I left the security office. Maybe I thought someone had broken into the building. Maybe I thought I could reach my car and escape. Or maybe, sitting there waiting felt even worse. Whatever the reason, I grabbed my flashlight, took the master key card, and headed for the stairwell. The deeper I went, the colder it became. Floor by floor, the temperature dropped, until my breath became visible in front of me. Finally, I reached the garage level. I pushed open the heavy door. Darkness. The power was out. Only a handful of emergency lights glowed along the concrete walls. Their red light painted everything in shadows. My car sat near the exit ramp, only 50 yards away. I started walking toward it, slowly, quietly. Then I heard typing. Click, click, click. I froze. It wasn't coming from a computer. It sounded closer, smaller, like someone typing on a phone. Click, click, click. I turned my flashlight toward the sound and nearly dropped it.